Geopolitical trends, consolidation points, prospects of the contemporary realities are strategically important to have an atmosphere of peace in the region. All these topics are focused in Central Asia program.
Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report. We bring you the report of the most interesting regional events in trends in just a little bit. But right now, headlines from Central Asia. A limit on energy consumption has been introduced in Tajikistan. This will affect the residents of rural areas, and the measure was implemented in order to conserve the waters of the Nurek water reservoir. Because of the dry spring and summer seasons, there's not enough water from the Vakhsh River to supply the entire country with energy. That is why authorities have decided to use the resources of the Nurek water reservoir. In order not to run out of the reserves before time, the country's population has been called upon to use these resources wisely. I would note that these measures will not affect the residents of the Shymkent, regional centers, or large industrial cities. The last of the 5 international highway fiber optic communication lines was launched on the territory of Turkmenistan. They span from Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. The throughput capacity, 100 gigabytes per second. These lines are used for the local traffic of broadband internet as well as international traffic. Thanks to this, the country still is the main information and communication bridge between the West and the East. According to Turkmenistan State Statistics Committee, from the beginning of this year, the country's budget received $486 million from communication services provided. Uzbekistan is planning to ensure growth in GDP in 2017 by 7.8%. This was announced after the parliament's lower chamber discussion of the budget for the next year. For now, the revenues and expenses from the country's main financial document have not yet been made public. It is only known that the growth in industrial production is expected to reach 7%. Agricultural production, 6%. The level of capital investments should reach almost 10%. The situation is becoming tense. The climate situation. The annual average temperature in the region is rising by 1 degree every 10 years. This is a very high rate, and its consequences for agriculture, for example, can become irreversible. My colleague from Astana brings us the report on how to manage the new environment and what spheres of the economy are more susceptible to these climate changes. Anomalous heat, drought, prolonged rains, sudden freezing temperatures. The weather is becoming more and more unpredictable. Unexpectedly, the snowy October in the north and center of Kazakhstan has caught even the elders by surprise. Throughout his 80 years, Ibrahim Jangurazov has witnessed a lot of surprises of nature, but even for him, this year seemed special.
Не было такого лета, по крайней мере, нашей Акмолинской области.
At least in the Akmola region, we have never had such a summer or autumn when there was snow in October. An entire summer of rains so that we could not treat the bread cultures with fungicides. This has never happened.
Что мы не могли обработать хлеба фунгицидами, и такого никогда не было.
Residents of other Central Asian countries are also worried about changes in weather. Because of the abundant summer rains, the agricultural season was unfavorable in Kyrgyzstan. As a result, the harvest of vegetable cultures was more modest than usual.
Для овощеводов, когда частые осадки у нас были, они откладывали свои...
Vegetable growers, when we had frequent rains, would put off their weed eradicating activities, and the fields would get overwhelmed with weeds. And those who cultivated lucerne or cock's head, they lost their harvest because they were not able to collect it on time.
Урожай свой теряли из-за того, что не сумели своевременно собирать урожай.
Abundant precipitation brought in unexpected difficulties for Uzbekistan's agrarians as well. This summer, the extremely dry periods were succeeded by intense rains. Farmers had to manage their work in the face of nature's surprises. Tajikistan also received its fair share. In the last year, we have been noticing quite often the dust haze, which has been affecting the harvest. It seems that this is a consequence of climate change. When there is a dust storm and no precipitation, the air changes, and there are physiological changes in the crops. The average air temperature in the countries of Central Asia is unwaveringly rising. For example, in Kazakhstan, it rises by 1.8 degrees every 10 years, starting from the 1940s. This is a very high rate. Modern science is not capable of halting the impacts of climate change. But what scientists can really do is help farmers adapt to the new consequences. One of the instruments is the GeoPortal. It was recently presented in Almaty. The program uses the data of the Earth's remote probing and geoinformation systems. It is then analyzed and put up for public access. This way, anyone can receive information about the upcoming droughts.
Геопортал – это новое для Казахстана.
GeoPortal. This is a new space monitoring system for Kazakhstan, which allows non-specialists to get access to the data of space monitoring, a system which has been adapted for the internet and regular producers.
Которая адаптирована под интернет и под обычных пользователей.
Aside from the monitoring of drought, farmers are advised to check their sowing and collecting plans against the forecast of the Meteorology Service. Also, farmers are proposed to diversify their crop cultivation, replacing wheat with oil-bearing and forage cultures. They are less dependent on temperature changes, and that means capable of lowering the risks for farmers during the non-harvest years.
Мы не говорим о том, что нужно выращивать другие культуры, а пшеницу нет.
We're talking about wheat and other cultures and switching to distant pasture cattle farming. All this allows farmers to be less dependent on the consequences of climate change.
Зависит от воздействия изменения климата.
The climate is changing, this is a fact, and we should be ready for it, especially sectors of the economy and agriculture which are directly affected by it. According to scientists, it is possible to ensure good harvest levels regardless of environmental conditions. The most important is not to ignore scientists' recommendations. In Tajikistan, children are fighting like adults. This is not hooliganism, but a serious sport. Martial arts are gaining great popularity in the country, especially among young people. Our own correspondent in Dushanbe brings us the story about children who enjoy playing on the mats more than on the playground. A small girl with a black belt is ahead of the entire team. At the age of 6, she fights better than her trainer. And one of the most difficult combinations in Japanese martial arts, the flight of the swallow, she performs at the level of a master. And on the mat, she can get anyone on their back. Dinara Nabiyeva earned her black belt when she was not even 6 years old. And her first fight was when she was 4. Then she effortlessly defeated a second grader. I remember my first fight. I then promised myself that I would become a famous athlete. At the moment, Dinara can masterfully perform 14 karate moves. Her trainer, Matliba Karimova, is confident that many older athletes would be jealous of her technique. Dinara is very diligent and hardworking. She stands out among all other athletes. Although many of my students are winners of international competitions, I consider Dinara to be special. She has great potential. Dinara's relatives are in the audience in the hall. Her entire family is cheering for her, but it was her grandfather who saw a future athlete in the little girl. Dinara is very flexible, ambitious, despite her young age. I decided that she would discover herself in sports, and I was not wrong. Dinara is the third oldest child in the family, but in sports she has already gotten better even than her brother and sister. Her parents believe that this is all due to her diligence. She set her eyes on great achievements from the very first time that she entered the sports hall. Dinara is very gifted. She's very serious about her trainings. She gets up at 6 in the morning on her own and is all ready to run to the gym. I hope that she will become a professional and successful athlete. This little girl has big plans. She dreams of finishing school with perfect grades and to come first in all competitions. Today, the young athlete is getting ready for an international tournament which will be held in the spring of next year in Russia. Every day, she polishes her skills in the gym. Seeing how easily Dinara performs complicated routines, other athletes do not hide their admiration. The young girl has fans not only among athletes of the same age, but also older ones. She is great. I dedicate my victory to her. I'm impressed with her technique and skill. When I was at her age, I was not able to do that. Dinara is an example for many young athletes. Gulsara is in 9th grade but has already earned the title of a countrywide champion in Taekwondo. She has tens of prizes and medals from different countries. She comes from a family of farmers. Between trainings for various competitions, she helps out her father. The workday commences at the bird farm at 5 in the morning before dawn. Gulsara has to manage to do everything on time: feed the chickens, clean the cages, and sort the eggs. I come here to help my dad and uncle. Of course, not every day, because my studies come first. I'm very sad if I miss classes. Because of her frequent competitions and trips, she has to study more than her classmates. At school, Gulsara is a B student. At home, a helper, and in the ring, a champion. Her parents could not be happier. They've already lost track of her awards and prizes. I'm proud of my daughter finishing first and that she raises Tajikistan's flag. She's a good student. Recently she went to Korea and finished first. The gym where Gulsara trains is across the road from her house. That is why already at the age of 6 she was signed up for Taekwondo. Today she's a numerous-time countrywide champion and winner of many international competitions. Gulsara has great potential. She has great technique, great execution of high kicks and hits, a strong jumping technique. She has yet to return from a competition without an award. Every year, the number of young athletes in the country grows. Junior sport in Tajikistan is becoming more and more popular. It is interesting that more and more girls are joining sports clubs. Their organizers are saying that if this does not contribute to the development of the Olympic movement in the country, it will definitely lead to a healthier nation. Gelateria, Kazakh style. The recipe of a unique ice cream was standardized in the south of the country. It is based on traditional fermented milk drinks. Over time, this product may become a true gastronomic specialty of Kazakhstan. Our story from Shymkent is about the new interpretation of a treat, the taste of which is familiar for many since childhood. Vanilla, chocolate, and creme brulee. This is a mouth-watering treat for anyone with a sweet tooth. And a couple of years ago, specialists from this department started working on a special recipe, an ice cream of the most exquisite taste. The task posed before our technology specialist was to expand the range of our ice cream sorts by including truly Kazakh drinks, kumys and shubat. It turned out that the traditional fermented milk drinks can serve as an excellent base for ice cream. What's more, these products are even considered to be healthy. During the production process, milk is pasteurized at a temperature of 90 degrees. According to specialists, this allows to preserve all the medicinal properties of kumys and shubat, which have been renowned since ancient times. It is interesting that during the production process of ice cream from horse and camel milk, cow milk is also used. However, it is added as a cream for thickness and fat content of the ready product. This is a trick of the production process. Overall, the production technology of this exclusive ice cream is no different from the traditional type of this frozen treat. The raw materials used are fresh and locally produced, but because of their specificity, their volume is quite limited. That is why, for now, only 10 kilograms of this ice cream with the traditional flavor is produced monthly. Of course, the consumer group of this ice cream is quite specific. They have to love these drinks. And I would say that adults like this type of ice cream more. Those who have tried the ice cream from kumys said that it partially contains the flavor of the traditional drink. That is why, aside from the cool taste, it is also refreshing and energizing. And the frozen dessert made from shubat has a taste that reminds of soft yogurt. That is why children prefer it. This treat costs 2,200 tenge per kilogram, or 130 tenge for one ice cream ball. Considering that this is an exclusive gastronomic treat, this is not expensive at all. There is a demand. Daily we sell more than 50 ice cream balls. For now, this unique ice cream can only be bought in Shymkent, but its fame has already traveled far beyond the borders of South Kazakhstan. That is why here they are confident that over time this delicacy dessert will rightfully become a local gastronomic specialty.
На этом все.
You are watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.
Kazakh TV.